Thrift stores are a treasure trove when it comes to finding vases in all shapes and sizes. If your vase is glazed ceramic, there is just a few simple steps to get it ready for painting. Start by giving the surface a light sanding. Then wipe it down with a cloth to remove any dust. Brush on a coat of primer to create a nice base for your design. The vase is now ready for painting. I spray painted my vase with a couple light coats of surf blue spray paint. Let the paint dry completely. Now to add some 3D detail with air dry clay. Roll out your clay with a rolling pin to about 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. Then use a small round cookie cutter. I'm using one with a scalloped edge for extra charm to cut out little discs. To lift the shapes from your surface without stretching them, use a pastry cutter or the flat edge of a knife. Arrange the clay discs on your vase in a pattern that you like, gently pressing them onto the surface. But you can add even more 3D detail. Roll some small balls of clay and cut each one in half so the back is flat. Press one edge on each half with your finger or a small stick. Now use a small brush and a bit of water to moisten the flat side of each cherry. Press it onto one of the clay discs that are already on the vase. To finish the cherry look, cut out some small, tiny leaf shapes from more rolled clay, and roll a thin rope of clay to form a cherry stem. Use a dab of water again to attach the leaves and stems to each cherry on the vase. Once everything is in place, let the vase dry completely overnight. After the clay is dry, bring it to life with paint. Use a small paintbrush to paint each cherry a bright, cheerful red. Then paint the stems and leaves a fresh, leafy green. And that's it. You've transformed a simple thrift store vase into a playful, upcycled piece that's full of charm.
Pick up 2 floral foam rounds and 1 white poster board from your local Dollar Tree. Use both floral foam rounds on each end of the poster board with hot glue and attach. Use stone spray paint all over the cylinder and allow plenty of time to dry. Add fake pampas grass and moss to the cylinder to turn it into a vase. There you have it, a cheap way to create your own floor vase for your home for less than $10. I hope this inspired you to try this DIY home decor project. What I love about this project is that it's budget friendly. We're starting with a toilet paper roll. All right, so we are gonna start with our toilet paper roll and we are gonna cut it down to about half this size. So I'm gonna use some scissors. So now that we've cut our toilet paper roll in half, I'm gonna be using this side here. We're going to set this aside for now because we're going to move on to the next step. So I'm going to be taking an X-Acto blade and I essentially want to create like a flat piece because this is going to be sitting on the ground and I don't want it to be unstable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my X-Acto blade and I'm going to extend it out and I'm going to kind of start shaving part of this piece away. Okay, so now that this is able to stand on its own, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be attaching my toilet paper roll to the top. I want it to be directly over the base, so we want it to sit about right here. So I'm going to start by taking my glue and I'm going to go around the inside. I want it to kind of fall here. And I'm going to take my hot glue and kind of go around to the outside. And so I'm just going to continue to add glue around the surface, basically kind of completing the gap that I see in between the toilet paper roll and the foam round. All right, so now that this has been glued, I am still waiting for glue to dry a little bit, but we can start at the bottom of this and work our way up. So it should be set by the time we reach the top. Now I'm going to use an artist palette knife. I have kind of more of a wide spatula-esque one. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be using. So if we open it up, you can see it's pink. So I'm going to take a big heap of this and we're going to just start layering it on. And ultimately what I'm trying to create is a really solid surface. And I want to try and make the surfaces relatively even. But you don't need it to be perfect because we're going to be doing another step after this that's going to help kind of smooth the surface out. Once I've completed this, when we get a little further into this step, I'll walk you through some other pieces, especially when we come up here. But for now, we will just keep moving and I'll see you on the next step. So now we're at a point where we want to work our way towards the toilet paper roll. That's definitely a little more set. So it's kind of tricky. You're definitely going to get your hands covered in spackle. So don't worry, nothing bad's going to happen with spackle on your hands. But if you choose to do this with gloves, that makes sense. Now that this is dried a little bit, it's not fully dry, as you can see, it's still relatively pink. We can start tackling the top part of this. So we're gonna do essentially the same thing, but I'm gonna start by going over the exposed base of the toilet paper roll. So you can see I'm kind of covering it there. We want this to look kind of blended. We want it to look pretty seamless. And like I said earlier, it does not need to be perfect. We are going to be doing another step once this is all dry to really even out the surface and make it look really nice. So I let this dry for about 24 hours, and as you can see, it is completely white now. It's no longer pink. And we did the inside just so it looked pretty complete when you were looking at it from afar, or when you're looking at it closely. I just wanted it to look very cohesive and nice. So what I'm going to do now is I have a sanding block that I've already used. So the sanding block is a little dull, so I'm going to be using some 220 grit sandpaper. I'm going to wind it around the block. All right, now that we've sanded this down, we're going to wipe it off, and then we are going to take it outside and move on to our next step, which will be spray painting it. So here is the finished product of this high-end modern donut vase dupe, and I really love how it turned out. I think it looks great in my office, and I hope you feel inspired to try this project. Thank you so much for watching Home Talk, and I will see you next time.